All right. Let's test this again. So guys, I know you are hearing me, but I want to be able to hear you too, because at the end, I'm gonna want to take some questions. Shirley, I'm gonna unmute you. Talk to me. I wanna make sure that I can hear you guys.
We can hear you.
Nothing, Shirley?
I can hear you well.
Very low. I wonder what's very low. All right, let me check the audio settings. The audio output. Test, 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 test. All right, microphone, so speaker. Test, 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 test. All right, so we'll work on the question part after. You guys can hear me. That's the most important thing. All right, so we'll get it from there. You guys can hear me. So in about 1 minute, guys, we're about to start. We're gonna start in 1 minute. We'll go from there. All right. All right, so we'll give it a minute and then we're gonna kick it off. In the meantime, between time, let's get this party started. All right, guys, so welcome everyone. Welcome to the Permissible Purpose Masterclass. We're just gonna get this started in just a second. So everybody, let's get it going. All right, Zoom. All right, let me see what's going on in the chat. I can't hear you. We can hear each other in the group, but you can't hear us. That's crazy.
We keep responding to you. I think, James and Shirley, we can hear each other.
That I'm not able to hear you guys. All right, cool. So Nish, I'm going to make you host. All right.
I'm
Nish,
here.
just
Let's go. Yep, I'm here.
So you can handle the rest of the stuff. I'm gonna go on. For some reason, Nish, I can't hear anyone, but you guys can hear me, but I am unable to hear you, and I just don't know.
Are you
I
hearing
don't
me?
know
You're not hearing
why.
at all. That's what you're saying.
I don't know
Just test it.
why
Okay.
I'm not able to hear.
Is anyone hearing me right now? If you're hearing me, just drop yes in the chat. Okay. All right. So
Anyway,
I'll I'll call
We're
Doreen
gonna
and
kick
have
it
him
off,
log
guys.
out
So
and log
welcome
back in.
everyone to the Permissible Purpose Masterclass. Now, for those of you in the university, I did went over this training before with you guys, but it's important that we comprehend what really permissible purpose is and the whole reason why there was a whole change of law, right? The laws were changed specifically for permissible purpose. So I want you guys to think of this, right? If the CFPB, along with the other lawmakers, are willing to change the whole law to facilitate permissible purpose alone, this in itself should mean that there's something here that you guys need to pay attention to. So can we all agree that if this wasn't important, they wouldn't make and change this law for us? Like, can we all agree that there must be some form of importance why this law was changed, why they deemed it fit to update this specific section of the law? So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go into it. We're going to go into it now, and I am going to break this down for you so you guys can really use this to your own benefit, because the goal of this is to get more deletions. So what I'm going to do, guys, just to check the audio one more time, I am going to log out of the Zoom, then I'm going to log back in because I want to be able to hear you guys, especially when I start taking questions at the end. So I'm going to log out now. I'm going to come back into the Zoom. So just bear with me a second. I want to make sure that this audio stuff is synchronized and it's working. So let me leave the Zoom. I'll be right back.
Can someone off mute and just say hello?
Yes, this is Josh. Can you hear me, Nish?
Hi, Josh. I hear
Okay,
you
yes.
just fine. Okay, so
I
the
think the chat,
audio
we
Hi,
can
this
working.
hear
is
each other.
Robin. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Well, welcome, family. We're
Hello.
happy to have you. Hi, Wendell.
Hello.
Hi, Miss Shirley. Hey, Joseph.
Hi.
Welcome,
Hello, how you
everyone.
doing?
Hello.
Okay, so we
Hello,
know.
this is Erlene.
Hello. So we know we are audible. So we just need to get Doreen to be able to hear us. So that's good. So I just wanted to make sure you guys can speak. All right. So he's back on. Let's give him a couple minutes.
I want to do a mic check. Can you hear me?
Yes, let's go,
All
Wendell.
right. All right.
Let's
Thank you. How
go.
you doing? You have a beautiful
But
day?
wait, Nish.
Yes, it was so good to meet you
All right,
all
I
at the
am
summit.
back.
It was
So
amazing.
let's see what's going
I think
on.
we could hear you, but I wonder, can the chat speak to each other? That's another one too, because we might be all stepping on each other. Like
Right,
Miss
so I'm
Shirley or
still
Wendell, can you hear me?
Yes, I can
Yes,
hear
I
you.
think
I can hear
everyone
you.
is hearing everyone right now. All right,
Okay, so the
Doreen, can
chat
you
can hear
hear
you
us?
and we can hear each
Like
other.
I said, I'm gonna get into it. So guys, as long as you
Yeah,
guys
he
are
can't
hearing
hear
me,
us.
that's
He's
great.
gonna keep
So
going.
we're just gonna get into it now.
All right, let's mute.
I'll figure
Listen.
something out at the end
Muting.
so we can take questions.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna go into it now. So without further ado, all right. Test. Yeah, we're back. Okay, cool. So we're gonna get straight into this document now. If you guys can see the document, drop some fire in the chat. Let me know that you guys can see the document. Drop some fire in the chat if you guys can see the document. We can hear you loud and clear and see the document. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very, very much. All right, so permissible purpose. Why do you think, guys, and like I really want you guys to think about this. Why would Congress amend, update, and make a new part of the law specifically for us? So I want you guys to think about that as we go through this document. And the reason why this document is important is there's a lot of people right now that's having their consumer reports pulled. And the most important thing that we need to comprehend is, okay, when these consumer reports are being pulled, well, who is actually given permission for these documents and these items to be pulled? Does someone have a permissible purpose? So on this document is, you can look this up too, guys, 12 CFR part 1022. This is the section that speaks on permissible purpose. This is a part of the Fair Credit Reporting Act, specifically the permissible purpose section of that law. So using and obtaining consumer reports. This is the section that this part falls under. So the agenda from the CFPB is the Bureau of Consumer Financial Protection. Notice this is an advisory opinion, and the summary states the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is issuing this advisory opinion to outline certain obligations of consumer reporting agencies and consumer report users under Section 604 of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. All right, so this advisory opinion explains that the permissible purpose listed in the FCRA Section 604A3, which is Section 15 USC 1681B A3, are consumer specific, and it affirms. So guys, when you hear me say Section 604, just know that I'm speaking about Section 15 USC 1681B. Section 604 is 15 USC 1681B. Okay, but for the purpose of this document, I'll be using Section 604. But just know, whenever I reference Section 604, I am speaking about 15 USC 1681B. Are consumer specific, and it affirms that a consumer reporting agency may not provide a consumer report under any may not produce a consumer report to a user under FCRA Section 604A3 unless it has reason to believe that all of the consumer report information in it includes pertain to the consumer who is the subject of the user request. So let me go over this and break it down for you guys. So 1 second, please. All right, just give me 2 seconds. Boom, boom, boom. Send this out. All right. All right. So this is saying that the advisory opinion for Section 604A3, a consumer report is specific to a consumer. And with it being specific to a consumer, what that simply means is if someone's information, so let's say, for example, we've heard before of consumer reports, or consumers having merge reports. And on these merge reports, what happens is other people's information is on your consumer report. So if you, hold on, I'm getting some technical help here. Speaker, change it to microphone. See if that works. All right, I'll figure this out after. I'll figure this part out after a beer, when I'm taking questions. So right now I'll just go through the presentation and then I'll figure it out after. I don't want to just have everybody waiting while I try to make this thing work so I can hear. So I'll do that after. So unless it has reason to be, so let's talk about reason to believe that all the information in the report, all the consumer report information in it pertains to the consumer who's the subject of the user request. So if a consumer report ever goes out, so let's say someone pulls your report, right? Let's say it's a lender. And when they pull that report, information on that report does not belong to you. So an example would be addresses, phone numbers, accounts, or even names that do not belong to you. So let's say you're a junior and your father is senior or something like that. If the information solely in the consumer report does not pertain to you, the consumer, a consumer reporting agency cannot furnish that information. They cannot furnish that report if all the information in there is not specific and pertains to the consumer who is the subject of the user request. So if you guys get that, please drop some fire in the chat as we move on. See, the Bureau notes that the disclaimers will not cure a failure to have a reason to believe that a user has a permissible purpose. So what the consumer reporting agencies, they were doing is they were giving out disclaimers saying that the information contained in this consumer report may not be 100% accurate, or it may contain mixed information. They were giving disclaimers and still furnishing these reports. But with this new law, if there is any error on the consumer report and information on here does not pertain to you, the consumer, it cannot be furnished. So they're saying that disclaimers now will not cure a failure to have reason to believe that a user has a permissible purpose for a consumer report provided pursuant to the FCRA section 604A3. So now let's go back to the car dealerships, right? We all know that car dealerships in particular are notorious for pulling your consumer reports 15 to 20 times. Can we all agree that these these auto loans, these sale people, these finance managers, they will pull your reports 15 to 20 times? Can we all agree on this? Well, this new law states that a consumer reporting agency, right? A consumer reporting agency, like disclaimers will not cure failure to have reason to believe that a user has a permissible purpose. So now what I want us to think about is this. If you have 20, 15, 10 inquiries from whether a car dealership or wherever, but it's for accounts that you did not get an open line of credit for, what you can do in conjunction with using the 24-hour express inquiry deletion guide is use the permissible purpose letter. So we're going to build a letter right now just based on this section of the law alone. All right. So we're going to build this letter, and this letter is going to state something of this nature. So to whom it may concern. So we're directing this letter right now, let's say to XYZ auto dealership. You have used my consumer report without a permissible purpose. I am hereby requesting the document that gave you permission to pull my consumer reports. Pursuant 15 USC 1681B, under the new guidelines, and the advisory opinion of the CFPB. See, disclaimers will not cure a failure to have a reason to believe that a user has a permissible purpose for a consumer report provided person FCRA section 604A3. Provide me with that document that you have permission from me to pull my consumer report. If you do not possess this document or cannot provide this permissible purpose document, you will be held person 15 USC 1681 N and O under civil liability for pulling my consumer report under false pretenses, knowingly without a permissible purpose, for which the penalty is $1,000. So we're gonna send a letter like that. So let's say now there's 10 car dealerships that pull your reports. You're gonna make 10 of these letters. All you gotta do is just change the address and mail them out to these car dealerships. But what you want is this. You can do one of two things. You can go for your $1,000 by going to arbitration, or you could get the deletion. You can use this to prompt a deletion. All right? So this is how you're going to use this section of the law. This advisory opinion also reminds consumer report users that, so when it says consumer report users, guys, we're talking about creditors, we're talking about banks, we're talking about car dealerships, we're talking about any user of the consumer report, not the furnisher. The furnisher is your consumer reporting agencies. The user is the person who obtains your consumer report from the consumer reporting agencies. So does everybody comprehend what a consumer report user is versus what a consumer reporting agency is? They are different. So I want to make sure that you guys comprehend. So if you do, just drop yes in the chat and I'll keep it moving. There's a difference with a consumer report user versus a consumer reporting agency and a consumer reporting furnisher. They are two different, all right? The FCRA section 604F strictly prohibits a person who uses or obtains a consumer report from doing so without a permissible purpose. So now, remember that letter that we made before? We're gonna add this part to the end of that letter. And this part says, the CFPB advisory opinion also reminds consumer report users. So now in parentheses, we're going to put XYZ auto loan or XYZ car dealership or whoever it is that don't have that permissible purpose. You're going to put them in that parentheses and you're going to let them know that the FCRA section 604F strictly prohibits a person, and a person means a corporation, who uses or obtains a consumer report from doing so without a permissible purpose. So now we are letting them know specifically the law prohibits you from using a consumer report if you don't have a permissible purpose. And we are now requesting the document person 15 USC 1681 B2 that gave them that permissible purpose. Is everyone clear on this part? I want to make sure that everyone is good. So if you guys got what I just said, let me see y'all put some yeses in the chat. If everybody got that part, put some yes in the chat so we can keep it moving. All right, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let's keep it going. All right, let me zoom this out a little bit. All right, let me go to view. Single page, perfect. All right, because this, all right, perfect. So now let's go to number 2. So supplementary information, the Bureau is issuing this advisory opinion through the procedures for its advisory opinion policy. Refer to those procedures for more information. So one, now we're going into the advisory. We're going into the advisory. And now in the advisory, we're going to talk about a background. Consumer reporting agencies collect and assemble or evaluate information among other things. The credit, criminal, other things. The credit, criminal, employment, and rental histories of hundreds of millions of Americans. They package this information into consumer reports, which are used by creditors, insurers, landlords, employers, and others to make eligibility and other decisions about consumers. This collection, assembly, evaluation, dissemination, and use of vast quantities of often highly sensitive personal and financial information about consumers poses significant risk to consumers' privacy. So what I'm going to do here is, I think this part is very important. So I am going to, where is my highlighters? Is this my highlighter? That's a very important section. Where is my highlighter? There we go. All right. The FCRA regulates consumer reporting. Now, the FCRA regulates consumer reporting. What does that mean? Information on your consumer report, the FCRA regulates that. So if we're talking about anything that has to do with information pertaining to your credit and information being reported, the FCRA is the guideline for that. See, Congress enacted the statute to ensure fair and accurate credit reporting, promote efficiency in the banking system, and protect consumer privacy. So let's add this part to it. This part is a very, very important part. So let's add that to it. One of the problems with the credit reporting industry that Congress recognized and sought to remedy with the FCRA was that information in a person's credit file was not always what? It was not always kept strictly confidential. So let's go back to this. Let's go back to this a little bit. Let me highlight this too. This part is very, very important. So some of you guys will be able to get this document. Not everyone will. If you're in the university, you know for a fact you'll be getting this document. If you purchase the VIP ticket, you will without a doubt be able to get this document with my highlights and all the stuff that's in there. So let me highlight this because when you guys get this document, I want you guys to have it a part of your notes. The information in your consumer report was not kept strictly confidential. What does that mean? It simply means that people were accessing your consumer report who didn't have a reason to access it. So when you hear these companies telling you about your information is protected and your information is kept confidential, that is a lie, because investigations prove that the information was not kept strictly confidential. So the statute was enacted to prevent undue invasion of the individual's right of privacy in the collection and dissemination of credit information. Guys, do you get what I just said? The statute was enacted to prevent an undue invasion of the individual's right of privacy in the collection and dissemination of credit information. So at all times, the number one reason or the number one thing, let me highlight this first. When it comes to your consumer reports, this information needed to be kept strictly confidential. This information needed to be protected. So as the courts recognize, a major purpose of the FCRA is what? Privacy of consumer data. So let's highlight this for a second. The major purpose of the FCRA is the privacy of consumer data. This should be ringing a lot of bells in a lot of y'all heads. Let me read it again. The major purpose of the FCRA is the privacy of consumer data. If anyone can access your consumer reports without a permissible purpose, your information is not protected. Your privacy is invaded. Your information was not met under FCRA security and FCRA guidelines. They did not do what the FCRA was meant. Let me explain. So the Fair Credit Reporting Act governs consumer reporting agencies and how they collect, disseminate, and furnish your information. A part of the FCRA is the confidentiality of consumers' information. The Congress found out that your information was not being kept strictly confidential and that your information was disseminated. One second. And that the information being provided there, was not private. They were using your information and selling your information to anyone that requested it, basically. So that is why we have an updated section where pulling of your consumer reports are concerned, and this section is the permissible purpose section. And this is why you need now to be equipped with this information so you can protect yourself from lenders, institutions that pull your reports without a permissible purpose. So you can either get remedy. Okay, all right, give me 1 second. All right, cool. So now let's get into the next section. So the FCRA protects consumers' right in multiple ways, including by limiting the circumstances under which consumer reporting agencies may disclose consumer information. All right, guys, give me 2 seconds. I am going to let my technician in because I need to fix this audio thing. Give me 2 seconds. I will be right back. All right, sorry about that. So now let's go a little bit deeper. Let's go a little bit deeper. The FCRA protects consumers' privacy. That is what is written. That is what's in their laws. The FCRA protects consumers' privacy. Okay, cool. In multiple ways, including by limiting the circumstances under which consumer reporting agencies may disclose consumer information. All right. For example, the FCRA section 604, and remember guys, when I say section 604, 604 or section 604 means 15 USC 1681B. All right. Section 604 is 15 USC 1681B. All right. Maurice, real quick. So I'm on the Zoom, right? But they can hear me, but I can't hear them. And I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this presentation out the way. And then the last part of it, now I'm going to do when I'm going to do Q&A, we'll figure out that part. But I don't know why I can't hear them. So you think it's the chat? All right, let's test this out. Dum, dum, dum. All right, so change that to chat. Change that to chat. Okay. Stop sharing. Can someone unmute and let me hear and let me see if it works now?
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Can someone
We're unmuted.
Can you hear us?
off mute? Nothing?
Yes.
No, he clearly
Still
not.
hearing anything. Nish? All right, we'll figure it out. All right, so guys, go back on mute because if the recording is captured, for the capturing of the recording, I'm gonna keep it moving. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out before the end of this lesson. So I'll just go straight through presentation mode. So for everybody that unmuted, please go back on mute as we go forward. Drop some fire in the chat if you can still hear me, and we're just gonna keep it moving. Just let me see some fire in the chat, and then I'll start as soon as I see the fire in the chat. All right, I'm seeing the fire in the chat. Let's keep it moving. So section 604, entitled Permissible Purpose of Consumer Reports, identifies an exclusive list of permissible purposes for which consumer reporting agencies may provide consumer reports, including in accordance with the written instructions of the consumer to whom the report relates, for the purposes relating to credit, employment, and insurance. The statute states that the consumer reporting agency may provide consumer reports under these circumstances and no other. In addition, the FCRA section 607A, 607A requires that every consumer reporting agency shall maintain reasonable procedures designed to limit the furnishing of consumer reports to the purposes listed under section 604. Now, remember earlier when I spoke about a consumer reporting agency can furnish a consumer report under the following circumstances and no other. So what that simply means is the FCRA gives a list of reasons, possible reasons why a consumer reporting agency may furnish a consumer report. And if they furnish a consumer report outside of these reasons, guess what? It is now a violation. It is a violation of the FCRA. Let's see. It is a violation of the FCRA, but not only that. Remember earlier, I spoke to you guys about the civil liability section. Now, under FCRA section 16, section 620, which is 15 USC 1681 N RO, this is where the civil liability section now is imposed. So right here on this document, guys, I want you to take a screenshot. This is a case law. This is a case law that you guys can read on your own time. I want you guys to read this case law and you will see, you know what, let's get into it. So this is a case law, which one is this? Able to 10 out of 20 reports, requested random, not that one. So let's read this one, the TransUnion Corp versus FTC. Now, 15 USC 1681B, remember 15 USC 1681B is the section that speaks on permissible purpose. A, provided that subject to subsection C, any consumer reporting agency may furnish a consumer report under the following circumstances and no other. FCRA section 604C defines when a consumer reporting agency may furnish consumer reports in connection with credit and insurance transactions, not initiated by the consumer. 15 USC 1681 BC, other sections of the FCRA identify additional limited circumstances under which consumer reporting companies are permitted or required to disclose certain information. So you can look further into these case laws, but these are basically case laws that were done not only from the FTC, which is the Federal Trade Commission, but there's also other case laws that you guys can read up on that's on this document, where these consumer reporting agencies furnished information or furnished a consumer report outside of the scope with the limitations provided under 15 USC 1681B, the scope of possible reasons why they could furnish a consumer report. So when you start reading, you will see those case laws, and you can, if you are, let's say, a victim of any of these breach in the FCRA. And when I say breach, I mean a consumer reporting agency furnishing information on you without a permissible purpose, you can get remedy under 15 USC 1681 N and O, and you can also get the items deleted. So criminal liability on any officer or employee of a consumer reporting agency who knowingly and willfully provides information concerning an individual from the agency's file to an unauthorized person. So let me break this down for some of you. Like, let me see y'all put break this down in the chat, because this is some spicy stuff, guys. I don't know if you guys are getting the same thing that I'm getting from this, but let me see y'all put break this down, Doreen. All right. If an officer or an employee, this is why when you guys call, I need you guys getting their information. If you're speaking to an employee, I want you guys asking these employees their name. And if you can get their location, that would work even better, because the employee or the officer that provided the consumer reporting from the consumer reporting agency, who knowingly provided and willfully provides information concerning you from your file to a person without a permissible purpose, is to be held accountable. This is why when you call, you need to get their names. Ask them their names. Ask them their badge number. What office are you located at? Guys, the law is giving you information that you can use. So if you go to court, you know, and you have the exhibits and you have the proof to provide. So in addition to imposing permissible purpose limitations on consumer reporting agencies, the FCRA limits the circumstances under which third parties may obtain and use consumer report information from consumer reporting agencies. FCRA section 604F, this is 15 USC 1681BF, provides that a person shall not use or obtain a consumer report for any purpose unless the consumer report is obtained for a purpose for which the consumer report is authorized to be furnished under FCRA section 604, and the purpose is certified in accordance with the FCRA section 607 by a prospective user of the report through a general or specific certification. Who remembers when I told you guys that any corporation, any person, any company that pulls your consumer report, a certification of accuracy or a certification of the permissible purpose document must be done? So let me show let me show you guys something. So the section that speaks about it is 15 USC. All right, let's find what's equivalent to section 607. So FCRA section 607. Right? So let's see what 607 is. Once we know what 607 is, then we'll find it using the other section of the law. So section 607, notice to users and furnishers. So the equivalent for 607 now would be, let's see. All right. So section 607 is the compliance procedures. Okay, so let's talk about the compliance procedures. So this looks to me like 15 USC 16, where is it? 16. Okay, got it. So go to Google and I want you guys to type in 15 USC 1681. And then when you type in 1681, it's going to bring you to Cornell Law. Now, when we go to Cornell Law, disclosure of compliance and procedures. So when we go to 15 USC 1681E, so section 607 is 15 USC 1681E under compliance and procedures. So write it down, guys. Section 607, so make it a part of your notes. Section 607 is also 15 USC 1681E. So when you get the difference in the codes, all you got to do is look them up and see which code are they referring, because I don't study the FCRA by the 604, 601, 602 section. That is not how I studied. I studied with the 15 USC 1681s. That's how I study it. So if you see like section 607, all you got to do is just look up which section is 607. And in this case, 607 is the compliance section. So when we talk about the certificate or the certification that must be done to the permissible purpose document, you find that under 15 USC 1681E under compliance and procedures. So FCRA section 1619 imposes criminal liability. Now 1619 is 15 USC 1681N, all right? On any person who knowingly and willfully obtains information on a consumer from a consumer reporting agency under false pretenses. So now let's talk about those car dealerships. Let's talk about those persons who are pulling your reports without you giving permission. Guys, you are owed remedy under this section. The FCRA permissible purpose provisions are thus central to the statute protection of consumers' privacy. Consumers suffer harm when consumer reporting agencies provide consumer reports to a person who are not authorized to receive the information, or when recipients of consumer reports obtain and use such reports for purposes other than permissible purpose. These harms include the invasions of consumer privacy, as well as reputational, emotional, physical, and economic harms. Guys, I want you to look at these words right here. These harm include, so on our letters, when we are writing the type of damages that inaccurate information is providing, Congress gave us a list of harm that we can use in our dispute. Congress says, you have harmed me, right? You have invaded my privacy, as well as my reputation, my emotional stuff. Like you see the words here. These are the words we're using. So these harms include the invasion of consumers' privacy, as well as your reputation, as well as emotional damage, as well as physical damage and economic harms. These are the type of complaints you are putting inside of your letters. These are the type of harms you're putting inside your CFPB complaints. These are their words from their laws. So we have to use it. Make sense? All right, cool. Drop yes in the chat if that made sense, or if you need me to clarify it anymore. All right, bet. So let's keep it moving. So the Bureau and the FTC have collectively brought numerous enforcement action to address violations of the FCRA permissible purpose. Now, guys, I need you to take a screenshot of this. Take a screenshot of this right here. These are clues that we're getting from the Bureau. And when I say Bureau, I mean the Bureau, which is the Bureau of Consumer Financial Protection and the Federal Trade Commission, right? They're saying that 15 U.S.C. 1681 BF FCRA section 607A requires that a consumer reporting company, among other things, must require that prospective users of consumer reports certify the purpose. When you are writing these car dealership, they must certify the purpose for which the consumer report is being pulled. And if they cannot certify this purpose, guys, this is a violation, and you can get $1,000 per violation. All right. So, for example, in the case that resulted in a 2006 settlement. So this is an example now, guys, of a case law, right? That resulted in a 2006 settlement with a consumer reporting agency. The FTC alleged that the agency violated the FCRA's permissible purpose provisions by providing consumer reports to persons without a permissible purpose, resulting in at least 800 cases of identity theft. Wow. And in 2020, a group of companies and individuals settled Bureau allegations that they obtained consumer reports without a permissible purpose when they obtained consumer reports for use in marketing debt relief services. Also, in 2020, a mortgage broker settled FTC allegations that it used consumer reports for other than a permissible purpose when, in response to negative reviews on the website, it publicly posted information it had obtained from a consumer report about the reviewer. Oh my God. So hold on, guys. Let me drink some water. Let me explain what happened. I don't think y'all got what happened here. Let me explain it to y'all. So there was a mortgage broker. The mortgage broker got negative reviews on their website by people that use their services. What the mortgage company did, the mortgage company looked who put the review on their website, and then they exposed that consumer report. Talk about being petty. They just took being petty to a whole nother level. So be careful how you guys are leaving negative review of mortgage companies. They might they might expose your consumer reports. All right. So all right, I'm gonna keep it moving. Oh my God, that is petty. That is beyond petty. Dude, the mortgage company had negative reviews from consumers. The mortgage company took those consumers who gave the negative reports and furnished their consumer report online. They took petty to a whole nother level. So guys, what I want you to do is screenshot this. And like I said, for those of you on VIP, for those of you in the university, you'll be getting this document, so you'll be able to go over it and study it with the recording. But that is just crazy. Everything good? But that is just crazy. So let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Wow. So in light of the importance of the FCRA's permissible purpose provision of to protect of consumer privacy, the Bureau is issuing this advisory opinion to affirm that consumer reporting agencies may not provide a consumer report pursuant to FCRA section 604, which is 15 USC 1681B, under any circumstances not expressly permitted by this section. In particular, the permissible purpose identified in FCRA section 604A3 are consumer specific. That is, they apply only with respect to the consumer who is the subject of the user request. And a consumer reporting company may not provide a consumer report to a user under FCRA section 604A3 unless it has reason to believe that all of the information it includes pertains to the consumer who is the subject of the user request. For example, consumer reporting agencies violate the FCRA's permissible purpose provision if they provide consumer reports on multiple consumers. Example, consumers with the same name in response to a request where the user only has a permissible purpose to obtain a report on a single individual, because that would inherently involve providing at least one consumer report on an individual with respect to whom the user did not have a permissible purpose. So the Bureau notes that disclaimers will not cure a failure to have a reason to believe that a user has a permissible purpose for a consumer report provided pursuant to FCRA section 604A3. The Bureau also is issuing the advisory opinion to highlight that the FCRA section 604F strictly prohibits a person who uses or obtains a consumer report from doing so without a permissible purpose. Coverage. Section C1 of this advisory opinion applies to all, not some, It applies to all consumer reporting agencies as that term is defined in FCRA 603F section C2 of this advisory opinion applies to all. All persons that obtain or use or seek to obtain or use consumer reports as the term is defined in the FCRA section 603D, C legal analysis, FCRA section 604A3. Section 604A of the FCRA identifies a limited set of permissible purposes. So guys, if you go to section 604A or 15 USC 1681 BA, it's going to give you a list of limited set of permissible purposes for which a consumer reporting company may provide a consumer report to a user. Guys, if this is good, I want you guys to take y'all cell phones out. I need y'all to go on Instagram, make a video of this, tag me in that video, let people know that they're missing the stuff. Guys, this is information that, guys, there's less than 1,000 people that know what I'm teaching you right now. There's not a lot of people that know this. So share this information, take y'all cell phones out, video the screen, put it on your stories, tag me in it. Let's go. Let's get this stuff out there. All right. So the Bureau, so listen to this. The Bureau is aware that some consumer reporting agencies use insufficient identifiers in matching procedures, such as name-only matching, which can result in the provision of consumer reports to persons without a permissible purpose to receive them. See, the permissible purpose for which a consumer reports are most commonly sought are those identified in FCRA section 604A3. So if you go to 15 USC 1681B A3, this is going to give you the most common reasons why the FCRA, or should I say the permissible purpose section, including for purposes related to credit, employment, insurance, and renting, right? So under section 604A3, a consumer reporting company or a consumer reporting agency may provide a consumer report when it has reason to believe that the user requesting the report has one of the permissible purposes specified herein with respect to the consumer who is the subject of the user request. It simply means there must be a legitimate business reason why a consumer reporting agency furnishes a consumer report, and that reason must also fall under FCRA section 604A3 or 15 USC 1681B-A3. The Bureau interprets the permissible purpose in FCRA section 604A3 to apply only with respect to the consumer who is the subject of the request. Guys, someone cannot pull your credit on your behalf. The information that is sought must be, so like my friend Maurice can't go to a bank and say, bank, I want to obtain credit for the rent. The rent isn't here right now, but I am pulling his report to get credit for him because he's unable to get it. You can't do that. I have to give, the rain has to give that permissible purpose. I have to initiate the credit or insurance transaction. If someone else initiates a consumer credit transaction for credit or insurance, and you did not give them any permission to do it, that is identity theft. So the Bureau interprets the permissible purpose in the FCRA section 604A3 to apply only with respect to the consumer who is the subject of the user request. If I am applying for credit, I must give permission for that to run. I must give permission for my credit to be ran. Someone cannot just go and pull my credit because they feel like it. No, you cannot. All right. So the Bureau's interpretation is based on plain language of the FCRA section 604A3 itself, which makes clear that whether a user has a permissible purpose under that section is analyzed on a consumer by consumer basis. For example, FCRA section 604A3A permits a consumer reporting company to provide a consumer report to a person which it has reason to believe intends to use the information in connection with a credit transaction involving the consumer on whom the information is to be furnished and involving the extension of credit to or review or collection of an account. Now, remember a while back, there were some people online stating that a collection company can pull your credit report. That is not true. A collection company can pull your reports. So let me break down two things to y'all. I'm going to read this last part again. Then I'm going to explain it. The Bureau interpretation is based in plain language of the FCRA, section 604A3 itself, which makes clear that whether a user has a permissible purpose under that section is analyzed on a consumer by consumer basis. For example, FCRA section 604A3A permits a consumer reporting company to provide a consumer report to. Listen this part. This section of the law, 604A3A, permits a consumer reporting agency to provide a consumer report to a person. We know what is the definition of a person. Can someone tell me what the word person means? What does the word person mean? Somebody tell me what the word person means. Business, not necessarily, James. I want you to use correct words. Corporation, trust, government agencies, cooperation. Yes, these are the words. Corporation, we're talking about entities, corporations, banks, government agencies. So if you look up the word person have these meanings. So in this case, a corporation, right? So it gives to a person, which is a corporation, which could be a trust, which could be a government entity, which could be a cooperative, which could be anybody or any individual. It gives them the right, which it has reason to believe intends to use the information in connection with a credit transaction involving the consumer on whom the information is to be furnished and involving the extension of credit to or review. Remember now, so when these companies like Amex Amex will periodically review your consumer report to see if your payments are on time. It's part of your terms and agreements that you signed when you got the credit card. So because you did that, they can do what is called periodic review. The law gives them that permission to do it. Or collection of an account. So when you guys, when you hear people tell you that collection companies don't have permissible purpose, they do have permissible purpose, because the law right here gives a collection of an account. It gives them the authority under section 604A, no, under section, where is it? 604A3A. It gives them that right. So 604A3A, 15 USC 1681B A3A gives consumer reporting agencies the right to furnish your information to companies that's in the collection of an account. So can a collection company pull your reports? Yes, they can. So if you hear anybody in these streets talking about a collection company don't have permissible purpose, or you didn't give them permission, you don't have to give a collections, any collection company any permission to pull your reports. They can pull it because they have a legitimate business reason, and the law gives them that right. 15 USC 1681 B A3A gives them that right. So I'm gonna make this very clear again. Collection company do not need a permissible purpose document from the consumer to pull their report, because they're pulling it for a legitimate business reason, which is what? The collection of an account. With that being said, the law gives them that right to do it. So I know you've heard things online before, but now this is what the law is saying. The law is saying that they can. They can pull it. It didn't say they can furnish on it. Those are two different things. Does everyone comprehend what I'm saying? Please, I need to know that we're all on the same page here. Does everyone get what I just said? All right, bet. So similarly, FCRA section 604 A3F permits a consumer reporting company to provide a consumer report to a person which it has reason to believe has a legitimate business need for the information. There you go. In connection with a business transaction that is initiated by the consumer, or to review an account to determine whether the consumer continues to meet the terms of the account. This is where now, this is the law that gives these credit card companies the right to do periodic reviews. This section of the law give Amex, Discover, Chase, it give these banks periodic permission to review your consumer report. Do we all comprehend what I just said? You agreed to it in the terms and condition. And because you agreed to it in the terms and condition, they can now use this section of the law to periodically review your consumer reports. The Bureau's interpretation also is consistent with the FCRA's purpose and structure. As I explained in part 1, Congress enacted the FCRA in part to address a need to ensure that consumer reporting agencies exercise their grave responsibilities with a respect for the consumer's right to privacy. So guys, we're about to start the Get More Deletions challenge, right? So the Get More Deletions 5-day challenge is coming up very soon. We're going to be kicking it off in May. So the 5-day challenges are coming again. Now, what I'm going to be doing is this. I'm going to be making some letters. I'm going to add these letters to so like I said before, for those of you that purchased, that got the VIP or the Ultra, for those of you that got it, I am going to use this new law to update and make some more permissible purpose letter. So basically, we're going to have a permissible purpose letter pack, right? So it might have maybe 1 or 2 new letters that I'm going to extract from this document, and I'm going to make those. So if you're in the university, don't worry about it. You get this automatically. You get the document. You get everything. If you're in the university, don't worry about it. If you're not in the university and you only came to this Permissible Purpose Masterclass, you will get those letters along with the document, right? But if you got like a general admission ticket, you won't be able to get it. So this only people that got the VIP or the Ultra, or if you are in the university, you will automatically get these. So the FCRA achieves this by, among other things, narrowly limiting the circumstances under which a consumer reporting agency may provide consumer report information to third parties. The statute is structured so that the permissible purpose in Section 604A function as expectations to the general rule that consumer reporting company may not provide consumer reports to third parties. Interpreting FCRA Section 604A3 to allow a consumer reporting company to provide consumer report information to a third party about a consumer with respect to whom the third party does not have a permissible purpose would undermine the statutory scheme and threaten consumer privacy with respect to the often highly sensitive information collected by the consumer reporting agency. So what they are saying here is, if a company, a third-party company that does not have a permissible purpose, a consumer reporting agency must not provide any consumer report to them because of the nature and the highly sensitive information that is collected by the consumer reporting agencies. For them to disperse or disseminate this information, it would be, you are undermining the statutory scheme and you are threatening the consumer privacy, which the whole FCRA, not a part of it, the whole FCRA was put in place to protect a consumer's information, the confidentiality of that information, and the privacy of the information. The FCRA was made to protect the confidentiality of the privacy of a consumer's information that is collected by consumer reporting agencies. So 15 USC 1681B(a), providing that in general, subject to subsection C, any consumer reporting agency may furnish a consumer report under the following circumstances and no other. See, the Bureau's interpretation of FCRA Section 604A3 also is consistent with the statute's purpose and structure with respect to what? Accuracy. See 15 USC 1681EB. As discussed below, a consumer reporting agency's use of poor matching procedures can lead to violations of FCRA's permissible purpose requirements as well as its accuracy requirements. Guys, if this is good and you guys are getting value, I need to see y'all dropping some fire in the chat. If you got an aha moment, I want to see some fire in the chat. If you guys are getting value from this, I need you guys recording it. I need you guys posting it. I want you guys tagging me. I need you guys to let everybody know that this permissible purpose class that they're missing is on fire. All right. A consumer reporting company may not provide a consumer report under FCRA section 604A3 unless it has reason to believe that the user has a permissible purpose with respect to the consumer about whom the report is requested. Let me read it again. A consumer reporting company may not provide a consumer report under FCRA section 604A3 unless it has reason to believe that the user has a permissible purpose. Guys, these car dealerships, when you go to these car dealerships and they are making 15 to 20 pulls on your credit, when you go for a mortgage and they're doing 15 to 10 pulls for that mortgage, guys, if they don't have a permissible purpose, those inquiries must be deleted. Furthermore, the consumer reporting agency should have never furnished your consumer report to them anyway if they do not have a permissible purpose. And a permissible purpose, person 15 U.S.C. 1681b2, is with written permission from the consumer to whom it relates. They must get a document. Where is the document? They must provide this document. A user's request to a consumer reporting company for a report about a consumer does not give, listen to this, I'm gonna read this over. If you've never taken your pen out, you need to take it out right now. Listen to everything that I'm gonna say. Hold on. Hey, Maurice, do me a favor real quick. Can you get any one of those bottles, preferably a red wine? No, it's in beside there. Pop me a bottle, brother, man, because we need to celebrate. All right, I'm gonna pop a bottle right now because I'm about to give y'all a whole bunch of gems. I'm gonna give y'all the whole secret sauce for permissible purpose. All right. A user request to a consumer reporting company for a report about a consumer does not give the consumer reporting company a reason to believe that the user has a permissible purpose. The wine opener is on the table. Scoot up. All right. Guys, did you hear what I said? These car dealerships and mortgage companies that take your information, that request your information or your consumer report, it does not constitute permissible purpose if they don't have the permissible purpose documentation. 15 U.S.C. 1681 B2 says, with written instruction from the consumer to whom it relates. Hello, somebody talk to me. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? A user request to a consumer reporting company for a report about a consumer does not give the consumer reporting agency a reason to believe that the user has permissible purpose to obtain a consumer report about other consumers. Guys, do you hear the word coming out of my mouth. If you got what I just say, put in the chat, I got it. If you got what I just said, put it in the chat, I got it. All right, let's keep it moving. See, accordingly, a consumer reporting company may not provide a consumer report under FCRA section 604A3 unless it has a reason to believe that all of the consumer report information in it pertains to the consumer who is the subject of the user request. If you have inaccuracies on your report, if you have accounts on your consumer report, if you are a victim of identity theft and those accounts, if you have a merge file, meaning you have the same name as somebody else and their report is on yours, like if you're a senior and a junior, and your sons or your dads or whoever report because y'all have the same name is on your consumer report. A consumer reporting agency cannot furnish that consumer report. It is a violation. I don't think none of y'all hear what I'm saying. I might just drink my wine. I might as well end this class right now. I don't think y'all understand the words coming out of my mouth. I don't think so. All right. The use of poor matching procedures, such as name-only matching, can lead to violations of the FCRA's permissible purpose provision. See, as the Bureau has observed, some consumer reporting agencies obtain information from sources that do not have or use identifying information other than consumer names. And they include such information in consumer reports without taking additional steps to match the information to the consumer who is the subject of the report. The Bureau has recently affirmed in preparing consumer reports, it is not a reasonable procedure to assure maximum possible accuracy, to use insufficient identifiers to match information to the consumer who is the subject of the report. In addition to running afoul the FCRA's accuracy provisions, meaning in addition to running a violation of the accuracy of the FCRA's provisions, a consumer reporting agency that uses insufficient identifiers in its matching procedures, such as name-only matching, cannot rely on these procedures to form a reason to believe that all of the information it includes in a consumer report pertains to the consumer who is the subject of the request. Right? So, for example, when a consumer reporting company conducts a public, oh my God, guys, write this down. For anyone with bankruptcy, this now is the section that speaks about bankruptcy. This is the section that speaks on bankruptcy. Listen and listen closely, because Monday night in the university, we will be going over bankruptcy. I'm gonna say this again. Monday night on our university call, we are going over bankruptcy. Guys, listen what this section has to say about bankruptcies. For example, and not just bankruptcy, any public record, right? When a consumer reporting company conducts a public record search using name-only matching and identifies one or more individuals with the same name as the consumer who is the subject of the user request. It sometimes might provide the user with a report containing a possible match or list of possible matches instead of taking further steps to match the information to the specific consumer who is the subject of the request. See, under these circumstances, a consumer reporting agency has not formed a reason to believe that all of the information it includes in a consumer report pertains to the consumer who is the subject of the user request. I keep telling you guys, when they talk about Pacer's information is verified, it is impossible. They cannot verify Pacer's information. Pacer, public access to court electronic All right, I'm back. The universe is trying to keep us from getting this information out. I am back. Let me make sure you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me?
Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Oh, I can hear y'all now. I don't know what happened, but I guess something good just happened. I can hear y'all. Shit. My bad. I don't know what happened, but whatever happened, I can hear you guys now. I do apologize. I have no clue what just happened. But yeah, I can hear you guys now. It feels so good hearing you guys like, oh my God, this is good. All right. Oh, let me go back to sharing the screen. Zoom. I do apologize, but whatever just happened in our favor. I can now hear you guys loud and clear. So whatever superpower is above, Yahweh or Yahshua, I thank you very much. Come on, let me get this Zoom back up and going. because we're almost done. We only got 4 pages left. We're almost there. Then I'm going to go into some Q&A. And then we're going to wrap up. I just need this thing I leave so I can zoom this thing back so I can see it. Okay, there we go. And let's bring this back up there. All right. Where were we? If the report includes information that identifies, even if not by name, consumer who are possible match. Okay, so we covered that already. So what I was saying to y'all before we got disconnected is when they tell you that public record is verified, guys, that's actually a lie. They cannot verify public record. They cannot. Because nothing on Pacer's website certifies that the information on Pacer's website is accurate. There are people that have the same name. We don't know what type of identifier you're using to pull people's information. Furthermore, a consumer reporting agency can furnish a consumer report under the following circumstances and no other, with written permission from the consumer to whom it relates. So a consumer reporting agency cannot furnish another consumer reporting agency your information without a permissible purpose, guys. They cannot. That is a violation of the law. They cannot do it. So if the report includes, we covered that already. So the Bureau is aware that some consumer reporting agencies that use inadequate matching procedures includes disclaimers with their consumer reports. For example, one consumer, this right here, guys, is a case law that you guys can go over. This is a case law. So one consumer reporting company stated that when providing consumer report, this record is matched by first name, last name only, and may not belong to your subject. Then if they know that, guys, how can the information be validated? This is what I've been talking. The information cannot be, you cannot verify or validate inaccurate information. So the CFPB knows this. So guys, on Monday, when we go over bankruptcy, we might build another letter, which I think we more than likely will. I'll build another letter addressing this issue. But this is what I'm talking about. Public records cannot be verified. So you further review, let me get this chat back up so I can see what you guys are saying. All right, let's put that in the corner over there. All right, disclaimers. Where were we? Reporting company stated that providing a consumer report, this record is matched by first name, last name only, and may not belong to your subject. Your further review of the state sex offender registry is required in order to determine if this is your subject. So disclaimers will not cure a failure to have a reason to believe that a user has a permissible purpose for a consumer report provided pursuant to FCRA section 604A3. A disclaimer does not change the fact that the consumer reporting agency has failed to satisfy the requirements of 604A3 and has provided a consumer report about a consumer to a person lacking a permissible purpose with respect to the consumer or to that consumer. Yo, we are going to build a fire bankruptcy letter on Monday. We're going to build another letter directed to like LexisNexis or LCI. Like we're going to build a fire letter, and then we're going to take that same letter and build a part 2. addressing it to TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. So for everybody that has public record and bankruptcy, we're about to build 2 letters on Monday's class. It's going to be bananas. All right, so let's tie this up. So FCRA section 604F prohibits a person from using or obtaining a consumer report unless the consumer report is obtained for a purpose for which the consumer report is authorized to be furnished. FCRA section 604, and the purpose is certified. The purpose is what? Certified. The purpose is certified in accordance with FCRA section 607. And remember, section 607 is 15 USC 1681E, compliance and procedures, by a prospective user of the report through a general or specific certification. So anyone requesting a consumer report, there must be a certification done through person 15 USC 607, section 607, or person 15 USC 1681E. So Congress amended the FCRA to include section 604F in September 1996. Before 1996 amendments, FCRA section 604 did not impose limitations on the users of consumer reports, only on consumer reporting agencies. The Bureau interprets FCRA section 604F to provide that consumer reports users are strictly prohibited from using or obtaining consumer reports without a permissible purpose. Although some courts have applied a reason to believe standard for persons using or obtaining a consumer report, as at least one court has noted, the opinion most commonly cited in support of this standard was decided before 1996. So here is a case law right now, not a case law, but 15 USC 1681 BF, as noted above. It gives you a further explanation of what this section requires. Section 607A requires that a consumer reporting agency must, among other things, require that a prospective user of consumer reports certify the purpose for which the information is sought and certify that the information will be used for no other purpose. So I will be using this section in the new, we're gonna make, like I said, we're gonna make 2 letters on Monday. I'll be using this section of the law in that letter that we're gonna build on Monday. So amendments based on this plain language in 1996, addition of FCRA section 604F clearly imposes a strict prohibition on using or obtaining a consumer report without a permissible purpose. Users of consumer reports must ensure that they do not violate consumer privacy by obtaining consumer reports when they lack a permissible purpose for doing so. For example, in 2018, a company settled bureau allegations that it violated FCRA section 604F when its agents obtained consumer reports for consumers who were not seeking an extension of credit from the company, and the company had no other permissible purpose for the consumer reports it obtained. In some instances, for example, the company agents initiated credit application for the wrong consumer by incorrectly inputting consumers' information into the company's application system, or by selecting the wrong consumer from a list of possible consumers identified in the system. when these applications were initiated in error, the company obtained a consumer report for a consumer with respect to which it had known permissible purpose, violating the FCRA's permissible purpose provision and the privacy of that consumer that were the subject of those reports, and also generating an inquiry on the consumer report. Guys, there was a company that got fined about $3 billion for doing this exact same thing. Do y'all remember the Wells Fargo lawsuit? You guys can look it up. CFPB versus Wells Fargo. It was a $3.4 billion settlement. Wells Fargo used consumers' information to initiate applications, to initiate foreclosures and repossessions illegally. So this is not the first time they're doing it. It's not the second time. It won't be the last. So what I'm saying to you guys is this: make sure that you guys are up to date on issues that are happening. These corporations are doing these things every day. They're doing it. So make sure you guys are updated on the information. This advisory opinion is an interpretive rule issued under the Bureau's authority to interpret the FCRA, including under Section 1022B1 of the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act, which authorizes guidance as may be necessary or appropriate to enable the Bureau or administer and carry out the purpose and objectives of the federal consumer laws. As an interpretive rule, this advisory opinion is exempt from the notice and comment ruling requirements of the Administrative Procedure Act because no notice of proposal rulemaking is required. The Regulatory Flexibility Act does not require an initial or final regulatory flexibility analysis. The Bureau has also determined that this advisory opinion does not impose any new or revise any existing record keeping, reporting, or disclosure requirement on covered entities or members of the public that would be collections of information requiring approval by the office management and budgeting. Like, here is just the mumbo jumbo. We're about finished. Like, we are finished. So now I'm going to take 10 questions. We've been at this approaching 3 hours. So 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 2 hours. So I'm about to take 10 questions. Guys, raise your hands, then we're gonna wrap up. So Livia, I see your hand is already up. So guys, raise your hand and I'll get to the first 10 questions and then we will get out of here. Go enjoy your Friday night and have an amazing night. So, all right. So who do we, Nish, can you moderate me these 10 questions and let's get them popping.
Okay, yes, sure. So first up, we have Livia. Or Livia, am I saying that right?
Livia going once. Livia going twice. Nish, can you hear me?
Livia, you're on mute. Yes, we're hearing you fine. Livia, you're on mute, but if you're speaking, we cannot hear you. So let's go to Wendell and then we'll come back to Livia.
All right, let's get it. Wendell, my guy, what's up?
Hey, what's up there? All right.
Brother man.
I got a quick question. I want to use for an example, let's say for instance, you got 20 inquiries. And when you go to arbitrate, you're gonna do each one individually, right?
Well, if you're talking, are they from the same company or from different companies?
From different companies.
Okay, if they're from different companies, you would have to take that up with each individual company, unless you're trading with the. Hold on, I'm hearing a feedback somewhere. Unless you're arbitrating with the consumer reporting agency, where now you can direct all 5 inquiry that did not have a permissible purpose to that consumer reporting agency. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I'm understanding you. And that's what I was going to ask. The next question was, if you were to go, if you had to do the 20 individually and then turn around and go after the CRA for all 20 of them again.
Yeah, so if you're going after the CRAs now, you can direct all 20 to the CRAs now. You can direct all 20 to the CRAs. You're gonna have to mute you. I'm hearing the
There's a
feedback.
lot of
We'll
feedback.
get you in just a second. If you're going now after the companies, you'll have to do them individually.
Okay, but if I do go the CRA route, if
You go for all the inquiries at once, yes.
okay, but then I get the 20 for each one through the CRA.
Yeah, because you're directing it to the CRA that furnished it.
Right. So would that be just one violation because they violated?
No, each inquiry is a violation. Each inquiry is a user of your consumer report that obtained that information without a permissible purpose. Each one is a violation.
So I can get 20 through the CRA and then double back
I'm
and turn
not
around.
telling you you can, you possibly can.
Okay.
But
That's
if
what I
you're
need.
aiming at the CRAs, then you are justified to go for all of the ones that they furnished.
Good deal. Thank you there. Appreciate you.
You're absolutely welcome, brother. All right, Nish, I think Livia was back.
Yes, go ahead, Livia. Yeah.
Hey, Doreen, good night, everyone.
How
Can you
you
guys hear
doing?
me fine? I have a quick question in regards to the hard inquiries, because I know on one of the letters you said you put an account number, but if account number is not there, do you reference the social security, the social?
Say again.
On the hard inquiries, because typically they just put the lender and the phone number on the consumer report.
And the date.
When you write the letter, do you reference, if there's no account number to reference, you reference the social?
When you're writing, I'm just gonna mute you because of the feedback. So when you're writing the letter, what you do is you put the name of the company and the date that inquiry was made. If it has no permissible purpose, do not dispute or delete inquiries tied to open accounts. You run the risk of closing those accounts.
Yeah, this is for a client. She did it was for auto loans. So just put reference a date. Do not give like her social or anything.
The account name and the date. Those two are important. You have to put those two together.
Okay, thanks.
You're absolutely welcome.
All right, thank you, Livia. We have Mr. Consume R Us.
Okay.
Yo, what's up?
My guy, what's good?
I got a quick question. In 1681E, which law goes to permissible purpose?
It's not permissible purpose, it's the certification process.
Can you point that out?
So go to 15 USC 1681E. When you scroll down, I think it's GB, or it's not EB. You'll have to go down in there. I don't remember where exactly, but there's going to be a section that speaks on the person that furnishes information from a consumer reporting agency. It requires a certification. When you scroll down, you'll see it. You might not see it right away. Just read through it. You will see it because it falls under compliance.
And that's 1681E, correct?
Correct. E is compliance.
All right. And they're speaking on the certification, which is the written consent.
It's not just the written consent. So remember, Person 15 USC 1681 B2, a consumer reporting agency may furnish a consumer report under the following circumstances and no other. B2 says with written permission from the consumer to whom it relates. That written permission must be certified. So now if Capital One got written permission from me, Capital One is to show Experian that I have written permission from the Rain de Levante. Here is his signature that gives me permission to pull his reports. I am certifying that this information is accurate. So there's a certification that must be done that the information provided is accurate, and that the certification also certifies that Capital One is using this information strictly for a credit card if that's what I applied for. They can't use this report now for an auto loan. I did not apply for an auto loan. So I shouldn't get a pre-approval for an auto loan based on this report. It should be for the purposes of a credit card and a credit card only.
Okay, so if a pre-approval do come through,
Then you
that
know
they
the
violate.
report was used for something else other than its intended use.
How can you prove that? By
If you get a
the
pre-approval.
pre-approval?
If you
Okay.
get a pre-approval, where did this pre-approval come from?
Mhm.
I
That would be the
never
first
applied for
letter.
anything. So where did it come from? It means now that report or that that report was used for something else other than its intended benefit. So when you read 15 USC 1681E, it's going to tell you the certification that must be done, and that the certification that is being done must be used for its intended purpose.
Okay. I'm about to look it up and put it in the chat.
Yep, put it in the group chat, and then we can talk more about this on Sunday.
Okay. Thank you.
You're absolutely welcome, King.
All right, Yannick. Let's go Anwar. Anwar's next.
Hey, what's going on? Good evening. Good evening. Hold on.
Good evening.
Okay, hold on.
What's going on, brother, man?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, sorry, I'm ordering some smoothies, so I'm just trying to get out of here. Just give me like 2 minutes, just trying to hop in the
Right,
car.
so Nish, let's take the next one and then we'll come back
Yeah, that's cool.
to Anwar.
Okay, all right. Corinda is next.
Corinda, what's going on? Corinda going once. Corinda going twice. All right, Anwar, we're gonna pass the mic back to you, and then we are out.
Well, someone mentioned in the chat that they didn't hear Edith mentioned that I did not hear you mention student loans. I'm not sure what that is in reference to.
This was not a student loan class, so I didn't mention student loans.
Okay, all right. So
something
Anwar, if you're
specific?
ready.
Is there something specific either want to ask regarding permissible purpose?
Yes, so I'm ready. So yeah, from everything that I'm understanding about tonight's class, permissible purpose really seems to be, a crucial factor when it comes to combining any one of your, deletion letters with, just really getting things like taken off of, credit reports. So from what I'm understanding so far, please correct me if I'm wrong. But say, for example, I want to delete an account like, since you guys just mentioned student loans, if I want to have something like that deleted, I could have the student loan deletion package or, utilize that. And then, of course, like the first step it is that they'll usually take would be, okay, it's going to come back validated. But then I could say that, look, did you guys basically have my permission? And now start quoting the permissible purpose. And then from that point on, since there's no certification or anything that is certified that says, you know, you have the right to furnish this particular information. Hence the reason why it is that those things can get deleted. Is that's my question.
Yes, so you're going along the right path. Unique, remember when we used this same tactic to get the Mohilas deleted, Unique?
Yeah, that's what I used.
Yeah,
Second letter I came with the permissible purpose,
correct.
1681 E2.
So basically, how you use this strategy is if the person you quote unquote got the student loan from, if they're not the ones reporting the information, the question now becomes the person that is reporting the information, where did they get permission from to even access your information or to furnish that information on your consumer report? Because remember, under 15 USC 6801, your information should be what? Confidential. Under 15 USC 6802, there needs to be 3 disclosures given to you before your information gets furnished. So what we're asking them now to do is to provide the disclosures per SON 15 USC 6802, where they have the right to report the information. And furthermore, you are also asking for the permissible purpose document per SON, the new law, what we just went over, per SON 15 USC 1681 B2 to be exact, the written permission from which the consumer to whom it relates, and the F3 reason, the legitimate business reason. So now when we ask for these documentation, if they can provide it, now we know that per SON 15 USC 1681Q, someone obtain or use your information without your knowledge or without you giving them a permissible purpose. So under Title 18, that's a punishment of only 2 years, right? And we know Title 18 is about aggravated identity theft. And then when we go to 15 USC 1681N under civil liability, it's going to speak about the punishment under the civil liability section for someone that pulled your consumer reports knowingly without a permissible purpose. And that is what we use along with the compliance procedures. That's what we use to get Yannick's Mohila student loans deleted. So you are thinking along the right path. It's just putting all of that together.
Because and one of the reasons why I asked what comes to mind is I did dispute something with the student loans, and then they sent me back some old responses of like when I first started college and all the student loans. Was that?
Nobody's asking for that. We want the disclosures. Don't tell me when I first went to school. I'm not asking you for that. Don't waste my time.
Okay. Yeah, they didn't provide any disclosures. They just sent me student loan information and then, my mom's information. Yeah, I guess because I had her as
that is stalled tactics. You have to enforce what you're asking for, or else they will keep giving you the runaround. No, enforce what you're asking for. It took us what, Yannick? About what was it, like 4 to 6 months?
Yeah, 6 months, probably.
6 months, right? So everything that you're experiencing now, Anwar, Yannick went through it. Like we were going through it and we were building the letters and we were sending them back. But then you're going to realize you're not one of those consumers who's just going to let it go. And then when you have enough evidence and you decide to arbitrate or you decide to sue them, guess what? Guess what's going to happen? They're going to delete it. If you did not ask for something, do not accept what they send you if what they send you is not what you asked for. Do not accept it. Return to sender or rejected. Do not accept it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Right?
Thanks.
You're
Okay,
absolutely
okay.
welcome. All right, Nish, who do we got next on the line?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I believe
There
Corinda
might
is.
be two persons in front of you, beautiful.
I'll wait.
Oh,
No, it's
you're
Corinda.
back.
She
No,
can
no, no.
go.
All right,
Yeah.
okay. Okay,
You can go,
Corinda, you're up.
Corinda.
Yeah,
Good evening, everybody. So I guess I'm kind of confused because I was having technical difficulties even getting on the call from the beginning. And I was missing out a lot, but it sounds to me like the main purpose for using this strategy to remove items from your credit report would be specifically for inquiries and not actual collection accounts or charge-offs.
inquiries. So this mostly speaks on inquiries. This will not pertain to charge-off. Charge-off is covered under a different section of the law. So inquiries and student loans and accounts that arose from identity theft. What else can we use this for? Basically those.
But someone would have had to have shared your information, which resulted in the accounts being reported on your consumer report in the first place for this to even fall under permissible permit. So how would a student loan?
Not necessarily. So an example would be you go to a dealership, right? You get 13 inquiries. Only one person gave you one. So it falls under that. The explanation that I just gave now with the student loan, you can use permissible purpose now to get that deleted.
To get a student inquiry or a student loan account removed? Student
loan accounts from your consumer reports.
I didn't piece it together then, because I don't understand how this would apply to a student loan then.
So I literally just explained it. All right, so student loans, when you apply for a student loan, the person you apply to get the student loan from is not necessarily the person that's furnishing the student loan on your report.
Or they're like mortgages, they always sell the servicing to your student loan.
Correct. The question now becomes, this servicer who gave them, correct. Where does this permissible purpose come from? Where is the certification now where Idarene De Levante gave this new company permission to report? Furthermore, where are the disclosures that I must get and I must sign that gave you this right to report my information?
So even if they consolidated all of their student loans into one, because now that became a new transaction, I would still have to have signed a disclosure to say that I'm giving you the authorization to
correct. But not only that, if they so I'm glad you brought it up. Now, if they consolidate all your, oh God, I'm gonna give y'all such a sauce right now. If all your student loans get consolidated and they clean up all the negative accounts that were there, and there's one main account reporting right now, all you gotta do is use the account deletion letter to delete that whole account. Bye-bye all student loans from your consumer report.
Because they will still have to furnish
They still
consent to report it.
And the disclosures as well.
If you consolidate it, will that be a type of permissible purpose?
It depends if you signed the document and you gave them permission. It's not just a permissible purpose, but they must also give you the disclosures. The disclosures are a part of it.
That's truth in lending part.
Disclosures are not given, the 15 USC 6802 disclosures, they cannot report it. So if they report it without giving you your disclosures, all you got to do is what? Opt out. Does that answer your question, Corinna? All right, cool. All right, Nish, who do we got next? We're gonna take this last.
All right. Well, we have two left, but let's take Joshua and on this Anwar. Well, Anwar went already, so let's take Joshua. Go ahead, Joshua.
Joshua, my guy, what's good? What's good? What's goody?
Man, I got a dozen questions. I was so hyped up and excited when I heard about permissible, but Miss Corinda, I feel like now pertaining to my issue with the paid settlement that I keep sending you, and I mean, I welcome any and all help with this, but or your coaching for a few minutes because I thought I could use that permissible person. I did the 6802 to lending point like you did. So I'm still waiting on an answer because I just tracked them and they
How long ago
received it.
was it?
I might have put Sunday, Monday around there. So I just tracked it now with online certified mail, and it just as of today, it hasn't gotten to lending point, but it is in
On the way?
it's in this in their distribution in their local post office. So it has to
Oh.
get to the building. But once it does, you know, we were talking about the rebuttals, they might happen. And I wanted to show you the contract that I signed, that it's an electronic signature, but it does say promissory note and disclosures. So I don't know if their disclosures is going to be the 6802 that
So we'll have to
can,
find,
you know,
we'll have to wait and find out. Let's see what they report. I mean, what they rebut with. Once we get a rebuttal, then we know how we need to go. It's kind of hard to say we're going to go left or we're going to go right if we don't know what their response is going to be.
and the permissible purpose, I can't use that to any of the CRAs for this particular account because it's a paid settlement and Experian already updated it. So I don't know if that would be considered verified. I know you say never dispute with them over the phone on this kind of an account, always do everything through letters. So calling Experian fraud department pretty much is a big no-no, right? Don't jump the gun, don't do it.
wouldn't do it. I want everything in writing.
So I can't use
When it
this
comes to lending,
604.
the best option would be 6801, 6802. But in order for us to get a strategy in place, we got to see how they rebut first. It doesn't
So
make
once
sense we come up with 15 strategies and we don't know what they're going to rebut with. Once we know what the rebuttal is, then now we know what to do to go forward. But without getting that rebuttal or deletion, I can't devise a strategy yet until I see what they're saying.
I'll keep you posted on what they say then, because
Oh, absolutely.
after that, I'm sure the next few rounds will be, you know, to Experian or TransUnion, and then we'll see
Not
what they.
necessarily. It's going to be to lending point. Our disputes are going to go directly to lending point. We dispute directly with furnishers, not consumer reporting agencies. It's very rare, or something like identity theft or some reinsertion. Like there's few circumstances where we might dispute with the CRAs, but most of our disputes is direct to lender or direct to furnisher.
And the worst they can do is still keep stalling, not remove it, drag this whole thing out.
But this is why we have the CFPB, and we use that portal to build our complaints. Because not only are we going to look into it, we're going to have the CFPB look into lending point. We're going to have the BBB look into lending point. We're going to have the OCC look into lending point. And we're going to send a letter to the State Attorney General. So do you comprehend now that you're initiating 5 different organizations looking into that one company?
You're telling me to hang in there, trust the system, because it's going to take another 5 to 6 months. We're going to go through all of these, the whole chain of command from the bottom up.
Another 5 to 6 months, because you cannot predict how they're going to respond. That's why we can't give time frames. Like, for example, I'll use Unique as an example. On month 1, month 2, we were disputing Mohila. They weren't budgeting. But when we got to like round 4, round 5, 15 student loans got deleted. So it's hard to tell you when it's going to happen because I don't know when it's going to happen. We just have to keep the pressure and hold the faith and make sure that we're stacking the evidence in our favor. So we're giving them opportunities to throw themselves under the bus.
So this permissible purpose is not attained to lending point. I can't use that against them. I have to stay with them.
I don't see how we can use this to lending point yet.
Well, I did learn something new. The ladies, I believe, a few people here said that the difference, because I was going to ask that question, the difference between pulling the report and furnishing. There is a difference now, I know. So I feel a little better because, you know, Lending Point, again, reported to Experian, dropped the score 90 points. So I was fooled, paying in settlement, never do that again. So as you see, I'm stressed out and ready to give up, but I'm gonna hang in there for a few more months.
Absolutely. We can't let these, like, guys, we cannot let these corporations get the best of us. You will be tested. You will be tried. It happens to all of us. See, the goal is for you to give up. The goal is to stall you. The goal is to send you information you didn't ask for. So guess what? You're going to get frustrated. You're going to give up. And guess who's going to win? Lending Point. Because now, if they have a clause in there, this means now that they can raise the interest rate. Because remember, we haven't even spoken about the interest rate yet. What interest rate did you get on that loan? And then the next question would be, what is your state usury law for APRs, for those percentage rates? So
Here in Florida, I would have to look that up, but go on.
yeah, so if you go into Google right now, and so do you know what interest rate you got on that loan?
Not really. I jumped the gun, like I said, stressed out because before I
It's
joined the
all good.
university, it was ready.
So what I
Just paid
want
it
you
off.
to do is go over the document and see at what interest rate did they lend to you, right? And then I want you to look up Florida State Usury Law. Just type that into Google, Florida State Usury Law, and it's going to tell you what the maximum allowed interest rate is for the state of Florida.
I have it, but it's not in front of me, but I'll look that up because
Oh.
that contract in January that I signed, I fear they could use that against me as a disclosure, but again, there might be a different disclosure. From
Disclosure
682.
is very specific. It states exactly what needs to be disclosed. They cannot use something else and say it means something else. That's not what conspicuous means. Conspicuous means you must give me what it says you must give me. Do not let this stress you out, bro. I'm telling you, let's get the rebuttal, and then from the rebuttal, we can start building new strategies.
I'll keep you posted. Like I said, I was trying to find a second answer that
I
question,
am
but yeah.
here for you. Yep. So I'm gonna see you on the class Sunday and Monday. Remember,
Sunday and
Sunday
Monday.
we're going into Q&A. So this would be good if you could have your contract with you on Sunday, so we can go over a few points. And then Monday, now we go into bankruptcy. Anwar, I see that you have another question. Guys, Anwar is gonna be the last question I'm gonna take before we go.
Yeah, just very quick. So I did, there's been a question that's really been bugging me when it comes to even like deleting these student loans. Now, my student loans, when it comes to my credit report, that really has like my longest age. And now I know when it comes to age, that's one of the reasons or one of the factors that goes into a lot of lending companies lending to me. So now, just like really from like an advisory standpoint, what I was really wondering is, should I have these student loans deleted? Because that'll literally like wipe out, most of my age, though a lot of these loans or these student loans is part of the reason for why it is that I'm getting a lot of denials. But I'm like, I'm standing in like between a rock and a hard place. I really don't know which way to go. Should I delete them or should I not?
I can't tell you whether to delete them or not. What I will tell you is this. You have to pick. You can't look left and right at the same time. So you can't have something for nothing. If you want something, oftentimes you have to give something in return. So what I mean by this is, if the student loans are costing you more than they are doing for you, you should automatically come to the conclusion as to what to do. Now, if you want to keep the age, if you want to keep the age of these student loans, all you need to do is delete whatever negative thing is on the account that's holding you back. But do keep in mind, if the student loans are furnished, it might add to your debt to income. So you have to make a personal decision as to, okay, what are the benefits of keeping them? What are the benefits of not having them? What are the pros of keeping them? Or what are the cons of keeping them? Like, you have to weigh that option. But as it pertains to your account, I really cannot tell you to delete it or not. You have to make that choice based on a decision that is most right for you.
All right.
You have
I
to make
mean,
that decision yourself.
I'm sorry. What do you say?
I said you have to make that decision yourself.
Okay. Okay.
Just
Yeah.
write out the benefits of keeping it, and then write out the cons of keeping it. And if your benefits outweigh your cons, then the decision should be simple. But if the cons outweigh the benefit, then that should also be simple as well. It's to the decision you're going to go.
Yeah, and it's primarily age, and I was wondering, like, does an AU do the age? Like, can I just
And
use
yeah, get an
that?
authorized user if you're going to
Yeah.
delete it. Get an authorized
Exactly.
user
That's what I was
to
thinking.
fill in for that age.
Got it. Got it. Okay, so that makes more sense for me then. Okay. All right. So you answered my question right there. All right, I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, guys. So this concludes permissible purpose, guys. I hope you guys learned a lot. Yeah, if you're in a university, you will automatically get this recording. We will add it to the permissible purpose section of the university. If you purchase this as a VIP or Ultra, you will also get this recording and the permissible purpose letter pack. Everybody that's inside the university, you already have this already. Monday, we will go over public records, quote unquote, bankruptcy. And when we do, we will devise a strategy. We might make 1 or 2 letters based on the new law. So we might add another letter to the bankruptcy deletion guide inside the university for you guys to use when you're deleting public records. So from me and the team, I want to say everybody have an amazing night. Nish or Bear, do you guys have anything you want to say before we go?
Yes, I'm here. I just want to say that, I really appreciate everyone turning out, especially the university members. And, I want to say a lot of people shy away from just asking their questions, but don't be afraid. Like, you got to ask your question, even if you come Sunday and Monday and every day, like, you're never a bother. We always want to hear from you. We want to hear everything you have to say. And we're coming up next is we have our 5-day challenge coming up. And for all the mothers in the house, please be sure to invite a mother. We're having a 5-day challenge coming up, and that's going to be exciting. So tell someone about it, and we look forward to seeing you there as well. That's going to be in May, on May 15th. Yeah, that's it for me.
Yep, so we'll be throwing a Mother's Day treat. All the mothers inside the university, you are welcome to invite another mother totally for free at no cost. For everyone that's not in the university, if you purchase an Ultra ticket, you get to bring a mom for free as well. All right.
All right, Doreen. That you see, Doreen be making stuff up on these calls. Like, Doreen, I'm gonna quote you on that. So it said here at 9:26, right, Karina? I saw her face. Okay, so I love that. That's amazing. So we'll definitely repost that, quote you on that. We love that. So everyone will bring someone Mother's Day treat. Let's go.
Mother's Day treat. So if you're a mom in the university, you are more than welcome to bring another mom to the challenge absolutely for free. For anyone not in the university, if you purchased a ticket, an Ultra ticket, you can bring a mom for free. Absolutely.
How do we do that? Just by sharing the link?
No. So you provide us the name and the email address, and we'll be able to send them their link. Because everyone in the university, you are programmed into the Zoom. So if one person comes in, another person won't be able to come in using that credentials. And yeah, so we'll get it going. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an amazing 2.5 hours. See, I'll be spending all my time with y'all. See that? I'll be spending all my time. Finish a whole glass of wine and everything. I really appreciate y'all questions. It's the questions that don't get asked, guys, I am worried about. When you have questions and you don't ask them, you get me worried. So when we're on the calls and you have an opportunity to ask questions, please do. All right. So everyone have an amazing night. I will see everyone in the university Sunday and Monday. So let's get it. Let's go.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.